Yeah, so I got one stitch on Sunday. I get to the back room, and Stevie's in there getting real stitches, and I got to have some stitches with him, and I got one stitch. I felt like he's getting real stitches. I mean, can we just glue this thing or what? But it was cool. I got to bond with him backstage, actually. You know, everybody knows that me and him have always had nothing but respect for each other. I knew it was a fight that was eventually going to happen, and you know, it is what it is. I had to do what I had to do, and I'm sure he'll go on and beat some other people up. So,
what's it been like between then and now? I mean, it's got to be kind of a whirlwind thing to fly from Europe and get set up and totally change job descriptions.
Yeah, it's exciting though. You know, this is something I've been dying to do as an actor in college, and not having been in front of the cameras that way in a long time. It was super exciting, just wrapping that thing up and going live, being live again, and you got to go and do what you're going to do, and there's no going back. Once that camera's rolling, we're rolling, and it was fun, man. I'm kind of just still all over the place because I literally just fought 2 days ago. I was talking about it yesterday, and I was like, yeah, my fight, when I fought, I'm like, I fought last night, and I'm in Vegas now doing this, and I'm going home tonight, and I'll see my daughter and all that kind of stuff, and eat some junk. I've been eating plenty of junk since I've been here, though. It's been fun. That's one thing I've been getting done.
Were there any surprises for you? We didn't get to hear the commentary, obviously, because we were in there, but, looking at social media, positive feedback, it looked like overall for you. How did it feel?
It felt really good. The opening felt fun with Brendan, and then we got going in the fights in the beginning. We were feeling each other out on who's going to speak when, and just getting a rhythm. But I'd say by the third fight, when Lee was fighting, is when I feel like we really kicked into overdrive and found our rhythm, and then we started having fun. And then we were both standing up in the booth and not sitting down. I was sitting down for a while just because I was like, well, I guess I should sit down. And he stood up, rolled up the sleeves. We got some black coffee, and started having fun in there.
We got one contract given out tonight with Sean O'Malley. Tell me what you thought about his fight, his performance, and his place in the UFC.
And all the research I did on that guy, I was impressed. We were both impressed, and I knew if he could do what he's been doing in his career, he would be the one to get signed, because his style is always exciting. Like Dana said, it's not just about what you did tonight, it's about what you've been doing and what he thinks you can continue to do, and that's a guy that we think is got the abilities to go and be unorthodox, and he's got a look about him, you know what I mean? And I hate to say that matters, but it does. But first and foremost, the kid gets knockouts, so that other stuff's just icing on the cake. So.
What'd you think about, I guess, not necessarily the main event, but the final fight of the night? A little bit of controversy there. How'd you feel that unfolded? Was it done properly? What'd you think?
I did have to look at and watch it with everybody else and see the replay, and they were the back of the head. But I was impressed with Angel coming out and throwing bombs and getting inside like he needed to do. I think that's another guy you give another shot. Maybe you bring him back in a few weeks, or if the show continues to go the way it's going down the line, give him another chance, because he took it on short notice, first of all. Took it in a weight class that's not really his weight class. And then almost gets the finish. Then there's a stoppage. You give the guy time to recover. I'm not taking anything away from Spawn. I thought that was even more impressive, that he's almost knocked out and can come back and get a sub. But I think I'd like to see Deanda again, too.
I think a lot of people thought Ton Lee might deserve a fight contract as well. What do you think that's like? I mean, being this close, going in and putting in a nice performance, and not getting what you want.
Man, that's the one thing I can only imagine what that feels like, because, I'm there now, so when I win a fight, it's like, all right, there's nothing else you're waiting on other than the bonuses. Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't, but you still won your fight. You got your job. These guys, it's like, oh, I won the fight. Duh, that's what I was here to do. That's not all I'm here for. They're not here for the money. They're here to get the contract. So I really feel for the guys that got finishes tonight and still can't get a contract. It's just it, but it's cutthroat, man. That's our business, and if you don't get used to it now, then you should just give it up.
How much through your career, when you're watching back your fights or watching other fights, have you paid attention to the announcers?
All the time. I always listen. Like one of the things I like to do after one of my fights is go into to listen. Like Dan Hardy, he never called one of my fights. I was like, oh, I want to really hear what Dan. And I loved it, man. He lost his mind when I landed that knee. Being a Muay Thai guy himself, Dan was just going nuts when I started landing the elbow. So I do appreciate how good or bad they are with calling my fights. So that's why when I'm calling these guys fights, if mess up a name or, you know, flub my own stuff, I don't want to do that to these guys. I don't want to taint their footage.
As a current fighter, though, do you find it difficult to be maybe critical of times of like, hey, I know this guy's going out there and, you know, busting his butt to try to get a contract and all this stuff, but it's still your job to kind of assess what's going on?
Yeah, like, it's like Sidney Outlaw tonight. He's a former teammate of mine and a guy I like very much, but I was pretty harsh on him because it's like, you know, you're here to get a contract, right? Or are you here to win whatever money you're getting on your contract for the one fight tonight, because that's what it looked like. And I'll tell him that, you know, honestly, he knows that. He's probably upset right now because of that.
How many of those guys, besides the two in the main, do you think would be afforded another opportunity to prove themselves? I mean, you have guys like Don Lee, who has actually already participated in the Ultimate Fighter, and now this. Like, how many more chances would these guys get, do you think?
Yeah, that's the problem, right? I mean, he's already been on Tough. He's now on the Contender Series and still can't get it, and didn't do anything wrong. Almost, you know, got a knockout to get into the house. Then comes here, gets a beautiful head kick knockout and hammer fist finish against a really tough boxer, and it's like, I don't know, man. That's the question. But I think if this show keeps going the way it's going, and if it takes off, you maybe just don't get one opportunity. Maybe you get 2 or 3, and you're still getting paid. You're still fighting. You're still putting wins on your record. So that's what I like about the Contender Series, is it's just elevating these guys' performances, but they're still getting paid and they're still getting wins. It's not like they're just, for the Ultimate Fighter, you're kind of doing it for nothing. Other than to get that contract, you don't get it. They don't even go on your record. That's a knockout on his record. No matter where he goes for the rest of his career, he's got a beautiful head kick TKO pretty much. So that's what I like, that it's sanctioned, that it's all legit.
What was your greatest role as an actor?
Greatest role as an actor would be Porrick in Lieutenant of Inishmore, which I did with Theater Exile in Philadelphia. It was the baddest ass play I've ever done in my life. So shout out to Theater Exile back in Philly. They put on the rawest, realest productions back then. But some of the funnest I ever had was at the Walnut Street Theater with this play, The Eclectic Society, and it was like 6 guys I actually went to college with that were all in it with me. So I mean, and we're all making like almost $1,000 a week, you know, union theater actors. We were just being absolute idiots every single night. So it was a good time.
Make sure WME knows to holler at you. You got your acting chops?
Hey, come on. I'm doing commentating now. I'm still winning fights. I need to get back in that. And I don't want some silly, you know, oh, I'm playing myself role again, which was awesome that Rob did that because he got me started. And It's Always Sunny. But I'd also like to actually do some real acting.
Are your jazz hands as good as your fighting hands?
They're a little slow. I haven't, you know, had to bust out the moves in a long time. And singing was never my thing. So don't even go there. Don't try to get me to sing, and not even karaoke. I'll be the guy sipping the beer, laughing at everybody in the background.